Shalom, welcome to Out of Africa Torah Session. My name is Tatra Cohen, and this week we are yet on another double portion of the Torah, and this happened to be Acharei and Kedoshim, after the death, and Holy One, or the holy people. Of course, the second one is referring to the house of Israel collectively as one, as a holy person, the Holy One of Israel, as Israel herself, or Israel himself, being holy. Now, when you look at these events, they came immediately after the death of those two sons of Aaron, which kind of caused a turmoil to the people of Israel. We see the events that pertain to this and everything else that came after. But now, I want to only talk to you today about Kedoshim, which is Holy One, or holy people. This is a very interesting Torah portion in this context. We see that God had a calling for Israel, and their calling was very simple. It was to be, to be different, to be not like anybody else. It was to do with them being able to accomplish that which God wanted. So Israel was supposed to be a city built upon a hill. In other words, they are supposed to be the light to the Gentiles. But how they were going to achieve that, part of it is actually listed in this Torah portion, Kedoshim. So we see that for them to be able to do this, there are a number of things they had to, separate themselves from. They had to be holy in the way they eat. They had to be holy in their social life. They had to be holy in their dealing to each other. Not only that, even in their approach when it comes to their relationship with God. And it's interesting that majority of things which are said on Kedoshim are actually appearing on what we know to be the 10 words, or what people know, especially within the church, as the 10 Commandments. Now, interesting enough, what it is to be holy, can be a subject of debate and so forth. But one thing remained the same is being holy in this context was as simple as being separate unto the Lord. In other words, God wanted Israel to remain in their calling. And when they do so, they would then accomplish that which God wanted them to do. And that was very simple, being holy unto the Lord. In other words, separate unto the Lord. So why am I saying all this? And what is the message I'm trying to put across to you today? The message is this simple: being holy for the calling. Being holy unto the Lord. When we are following all these rules and what I always tell my friends, we are saved to obey. We do not obey so that we can be saved, but we actually saved so that we can now be able to obey. We can now be able to be a fruit worthy of repentance. So this is a very simple message. We are saved. We are called as the people of Israel, not only those who are natural Israel, but everyone who has deliberately joined themselves voluntarily unto the house of Israel. Together they make a community of Israel. And your calling is one, being holy unto the Lord. Not for you, not for me, but being separate unto God's business. That should be your work. That should be your task. In other words, when you do anything that you do, you find yourself in your social setting, in anything that you do, your job should be separate unto the Lord. In other words, if I can summarize this whole holiness and this Torah portion, I would simply say, having the consciousness of the Lord at the back of your mind in everything that you do. In other words, you ask yourself, what would Yeshua have done in this context? Because he is the fulfillment of the Torah. Thank you, and Shabbat Shalom all.